Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Into the Vault, the show where we reach back into the Disney vault, pull out a movie, and find out if it was a hidden treasure or if it was locked away for our own good. I'm your host, Garrison MacCraw, and with me today is what it looks like just a regular pirate? No, this isn't a regular pirate because he's dead. Oh my god, it's the ghost of Nate Elliott.
Hi, it's me. I'm Nate Elliott. I'm a ghost.
I'm sorry about your death.
Yeah, it was awful.
What happened?
Well, it all started when I was furloughed.
Okay. Same old story.
Yeah.
Tale as old as time.
Yep.
Nate, I have brought you here today as a pirate ghost because we're actually watching the Disney movie Blackbeard's Ghost.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Blackbeard's ghost?
Yeah. I figured you guys knew each other, being dead pirate ghosts and all.
Dude, I've known Blackbeard's ghost for as long as this joke has been going on, you know?
This movie came out in 1968, and yeah, it's all about Blackbeard being dead and probably other things.
Oh, I thought that was actually the synopsis for a second.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I haven't looked up anything about the movie.
Well, I think that brings me to my question for you then. So you know nothing about this movie?
I know like a little bit.
Okay.
Because I watched this like when I was like 8 or 9 or something because
Your parents didn't have any other movies at the library. They ran out.
I was like, well, it's a Disney movie, so it's probably fine for him to watch, you know? And I was like, whoa, Blackbeard's ghost. What's this about? And I remember watching it, and yeah, I know for certain that Blackbeard's ghost shows up at least at some point. And I know there's a guy that is like in possession of Blackbeard's ghost. That doesn't sound right. I guess he's being haunted. I don't know how he.
Is this a friendship or a haunting situation?
That's and then I'm also like mixing it up with like that SpongeBob episode where the Flying Dutchman is just like chilling at SpongeBob's house. Like I think he's unemployed actually, and so it's all kind of jumbled up. But to answer your question, no, I don't really know a whole lot about this movie.
Well, in front of you, I placed a poster for Blackbeard's Ghost. So let's talk a little bit about what we see here.
See. Paper sounds. Here, let me look at this. Wow, this is a vintage Blackbeard's Ghost poster.
Yeah, it's signed by every actor from the movie.
Oh my goodness, all 4 of them.
Yeah, and the ship, Blackbeard ship.
Whoa.
Yeah, it signed it too. It just ran it over.
Yeah.
I threw it in the water.
Man, so that's what that streak is.
Yeah, it's on the middle.
Wow.
So let's try and look around all the names and the giant streak and check out this poster.
It's a good thing I brought my reading glasses.
And it's a good thing I brought this second poster that's unmarked for myself.
Oh, never mind the glasses that are wet.
I'm not
now?
giving you
what
this
is
poster.
This wet sound effects?
This was my poster.
Oh, okay. Now I feel bad for having thrown out the other poster. That probably would have gotten you a lot of money on eBay. A vintage signed poster for Blackbeard's Ghost.
Yeah.
The Disney blockbuster of 1968.
Everyone's favorite movie.
Yeah.
So what do we have going on here? We have what appears to be Blackbeard, I assume?
I would assume. I mean, he looks pretty piratey compared to the other 3 gentlemen on the page.
Yeah. Who else do we have?
Let's see. We have a policeman who's giving me some eyes.
Oh.
You know, he seems to be writing down some notes, or he's drawing a picture. Maybe he's, I don't know,
playing Pictionary.
Yeah, maybe he's drawing a picture of Blackbeard's ghost. He's like, you know what? Forget this police report. I just saw Blackbeard's ghost. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and I'm speechless right now. I better just draw a picture of what I've seen.
We also have just a regular man.
Man. I remember Regular Man.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about him, but I remember his being regular.
Well, I recognize this regular man. He is the classic Disney regular man. Herbie Fully, not Herbie Fully Loaded. Hold on.
I'm like, he showed up. His last IMDb credit is Herbie Fully Loaded.
He's in like The Love Bug, The Shaggy Dog. He is the classic Disney guy.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I actually haven't seen any of those that you mentioned, actually. I saw all of their remakes later on.
But with Tim Allen.
Yeah. So this is like the 60s Tim Allen.
If Toy Story was created in this era, he would have been Buzz Lightyear. 60s Buzz Lightyear.
Someone should do that.
Go back to the 60s.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Make Toy Story.
Yeah, man. Like time travel.
Like, what if all our toys came to life, but it's the 60s, so it's toys filled with lead and
yeah, they're like super toxic.
Yeah.
Or they're mostly made of wood though, like they're like just a lot of blocks.
Yeah.
I think we were out of the like stick and a hoop phase.
Oh, definitely.
You know, that phase that we went through for however many years.
I'm still in that phase. Hoop and stick.
Dude, I always text everyone. I'm like, hey, everyone, get on stick and hoop. Like, I'm online right now. And we just play.
I have a Twitch
there with my
account.
headset. Like, hey, there's a hoop. Go make sure it keeps on rolling down the street.
I'd like to thank everyone for subscribing to Hoop and Stick channel here on Twitch. Thanks for all the bits that you've donated. Dude, you don't need to comment that. My Hoop and Stick game is great. I just disagree. And finally on the poster, we have a boat.
Yes.
It doesn't really look like a pirate ship to me.
It's like a little more piratey than like a yacht. There's some sails, which is nice. It is that a sailboat?
Blackbeard sailboat.
Yeah, I don't know if that's Blackbeard's boat, ship. It's kind of lackluster, I'm gonna say. Like,
no wonder he died.
Not to literally judge a book by its cover, but or I should say, judge a pirate by his ship. I don't know. He's gonna have to pick up some of his boat's slack.
Well, I think that's all we can talk about before actually watching the movie. So I think it's time we go do that.
Let's.
And we are back. We just finished watching Blackbeard's Ghost. Nate, how are you feeling right now?
I am. I'm at a loss for words, man. I'm still taking it in.
Yeah. No, I understand.
It is not a small movie.
No.
Like there's a lot. There's a lot to process. I'll say that.
So I think we need to just dive right in from the beginning. So we open with this guy, Steve Walker, just the most generic.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I don't remember them ever saying his name because they were always like Mr. Whoever. Or, you know. And then Blackbeard never referred to him as his actual name. So that's nice to know.
Yeah.
Nice to find out now after the fact.
Yeah, so Steve Walker, he's just moved to a fictional town called Godolphin.
Godolphin.
Yeah, Godolphin's how they pronounce it, but
it's spelled
Godolphin.
And when we first saw it on like a sign for like, oh yeah, the next town is Godolphin. I was like, oh, how nice and encouraging for the town dolphin, you know?
He's like, yeah, go me. It's in North Carolina, and he's moving there to be a high school track coach. And he starts
the full-time job.
The full-time job of high school track coach. You know how you move to be move all the way across states and towns? You know, using your degree wisely to be the high school track coach.
Well, we have this big track coach coming in. He's going to be the new coach.
When he arrives at a gas station, he meets one of the kids from the school, and he starts to realize, oh, this team kind of sucks. Because the kid's like, we've never won a thing. I'm the best on the team, and I'm horrible at all sports.
Yeah, and when we say kid, we're only saying it because they refer to them as kids, but they are all like 27 and up.
The entire team definitely has 3 kids and a mortgage, and Like they're putting money away in their 401k already. Like they're
Like, I'm trying to think, even in like some of the later scenes, which I won't spoil yet, but like I never saw anyone below the age of like 25.
Yep.
And that's like generous.
So he gets to like the local hotel, and it's this big pirate themed. It's called Blackbeard's Inn, because apparently Blackbeard. It was like they built it out of Blackbeard's ship, or pieces from his ship.
He what's his name? Steven?
Yeah, Steve.
The guy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, well, that place looks interesting, does it? And basically, just imagine like the backside of Captain Hook's ship.
Yeah.
Like from Hook.
Yeah, that
like
one.
how he has like that skull-shaped apartment,
like the hole in the back. Yeah.
But like, if you asked, like, I don't know, like a kid to draw it with crayon, and then you asked like a comic book inker to like color it all, and it looks like it's made out of ship parts. But, like, not anything that you would say, hey, that would probably fit here nicely so we could make a hotel, a Blackbeard-themed hotel inside. Oh, but anyway, he's like, oh, well, that looks weird. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, they put it together with bits and pieces of broken ships that just, like, washed ashore or something.
Which is the standard operating procedure for old, like, relics of the past is you build them into hotels.
Yeah.
You know, in Indiana Jones, anytime you got something, it's like, great, this is going to go inside part of a hotel, like support beam.
Yeah. It belongs in a museum. Wait. No, don't touch that. That would actually go great on the outside. We could put this on like the like east like corner of the building.
So there's a big festival because they're going to have an auction for the hotel because it's about to be run out of business. So they're like trying to raise some money. So like everyone from the town is there hanging out. They have a kissing booth and
not
like,
much else.
Not
like
much.
They don't show like there's a lot of hustle and bustle, but you don't actually see like a whole lot. Like maybe there must have been like one or two other booths or activities.
It's all we see is the kissing booth.
We didn't even see people walking around with like, pies or something like that. Like, oh man, we gotta try that booth off screen. Like, no, it was kind of just the one booth that gets featured.
And it was kisses for a whole $1.
$1.
So Steve comes in, is looking around. He accidentally gets himself in like a fortune teller tent, and there's a weird woman who's like, "Whoa, I see things in your future," and he's like, "I don't really care."
Yeah. Oh, and also like he moves over here to be the coach, and like upon entering this weird building, like he's met by is it the principal?
The principal of the school, as well as the
football coach.
The football coach of the school.
And they just start like roasting him and him, but also just like the position in general. They're just like, oh, that job? And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, like, and the principal, he's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, didn't you hire me? Like, if you guys really don't care that much, like,
I don't have to be here.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't have come. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for the welcoming committee.
Yeah, so the principal's like, if our team starts winning, we can get grants for the school. And football guy's like, oh, only the football team gets the grants for the school. And the principal's like, yeah, track sucks. It's like, wouldn't you want him to do well?
Yeah, I'm like there must be a reason that they wanted this particular guy, right?
Apparently not.
Like, because if it was just like, oh, we don't care, we're not going to put any effort into it, could you just get some Joe Schmo? Like, oh, get the janitor to do it, or get,
one of the 38-year-old high school students.
Someone, some faculty member who isn't doing anything extracurricular. Just have them, it's an hour after school, and just have them, be the coach for the track team. Like, we don't care. But no, they brought a guy in, and they're like, oh, thank goodness you're here. Your job sucks, and we hate you. Welcome to North Carolina.
he meets another character who's this girl who probably has a name, Joanne. That's her name, and
Is that the main one?
yeah, the girl, the main one.
That's nice to know.
Yeah. I have a list of the characters in front of me. That's the only reason I know the names.
I was like, I swear we watched this movie.
So he sees her by the kissing booth, not like in it, but like by it. So he drops $1 in the basket and like grabs her and kisses her.
Though I didn't even see him drop $1. Like he
yes,
such speed, like cartoon. Like he just like it was wow. But yes, he runs over to her, bounds, sprints over to her, and then kisses her. And it's just weird because, like, I mean, obviously this is for the bit or whatever, but just like in reality, why did you do it so fast? Like, and then he's like, "Oh, for $1," and it's like, Still, did you really think that she was the kissing, or were you just like, oh, I bet I could probably kiss her, and then be like, oh for $1, right?
Like, if she was behind the booth even, I would be like, okay, I see you get confused.
Yeah.
But she was in front of the booth. If anything, maybe she was in line to kiss the person in the booth too.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. I'm trying to get a $1 kiss. Because I mean, I don't know. I'll just say it. I've never been to a $1 kissing booth at a fair to raise money for old ladies trying to keep their
hotel open,
their Blackbeard themed hotel alive. But I feel like you approach them calmly and be like, well, here's my $1, and then you get to kissing.
Yeah,
but this was like
head first.
Oof.
So there's also an auction where they're selling a lot of Blackbeard's old stuff to, again, try and raise money. And it's like really cool, like historical artifacts, like pistols from the era and like a cooking pot and all these things. And people are like, I'll give $1 for it.
Dude. So what was it? I think it was. She was like, this is a real bona fide like pirate pistol, and it's like as long as her arm, like one of those long guns, and he says, what, some random old guy in the crowd, he's like, well, I'll give you $1, and she, you know, rightfully is like, could you do better than $1? $1 could get you like a kiss and nothing else. But then like other bids on other items like aren't much more, and she doesn't give them any flack. Like they're like, here's a real, you know, mass, you know, from a ship, and they're like, $6, and she's like, okay, all right, we have $6, and I'm like, really?
There's also this group of, they seem to be shady, nefarious gangster types who halfway through this auction, like, start walking up to people and be like, hey, you know, we think these items are fakes. I would highly recommend you don't buy them. And everyone's like, oh, we trust you, shady town gangster. Yeah, these must be fakes.
And it's so weird because, like, later on, like, there are guns present. Yeah. And not, like, vintage pirate pistols, like actual like firearms from like well, in the 60s, not nowadays. Yeah. So I thought at first like maybe it was like some sort of regulation, some sort of, you know, they had their limits back in those days of like what they could show on film. So I thought like, oh well, they can't actually have like a weapon or something in a G-rated movie.
But they definitely could.
Yeah. And they don't, like, they do nothing. Not even, like, threatening body language to these people. They literally just whisper in their ear, like, I wouldn't bet on that. Like, I don't think, like, if I were you, I probably wouldn't. And I don't know if you have ever been in a situation like that before where someone's like, oh, those shoes, I don't know about that. But I don't give a crap about what they think. I'm going to buy the shoes. No, I literally am about to buy a real live pirate pistol for $6. Like, that is a steal. I don't care if it's a fake. Like, I didn't even break $10.
Yeah. And that's what Steve does. They're selling like an antique, they said like bed warmer. So I assume it's like a piece of metal you just heat up and put it under your bed or something.
Yeah, it's like that thing. Like, it's just a pan, and you put the coals in it, and you put it on the sheets. And I just don't know how you don't burn your legs that way.
So he's like, I'll give $200 for this bed warmer. So he's really happy with it. The gangsters are very unhappy, and the ladies...
but we advised them not to buy it.
The ladies take him to his room for the evening, which apparently had a lot of Blackbeard's, like Blackbeard's bed, and they're like, this is a portrait of his wife, who might have been a witch, and she hated him, and even cursed him when he died. This is all stuff I'm telling you for some reason. Anyway, have a nice night here at the hotel.
Yeah.
This woman gets real creepy.
Like, it rode that weird line, you know, between, like, in the right, like, lighting with, like, the right type of music, this could be kind of spooky, but it could also be really funny, and it wasn't really either.
No.
I was just like, this is just weird. Like, it only got, like, funny when she just, like, flipped the switch, and she was like, okay, well, goodbye. Breakfast is at 7. Good night. And, like, left.
So Steve accidentally sits he sits on the bed where he placed his bed warmer and accidentally breaks this thing in half. You know how you treat your ancient, old artifact purchases. How you just sit on them and go, oh, well, that's $200 down the drain.
If it was a piece of paper, like with a blank piece of paper that I spent $200 on it, I still wouldn't just put it there on the edge of the bed.
And that's in today money.
Yeah. Like,
$200 in 60s money? Like,
dude, like, oh my.
You're laminating it that night.
Like, how much money do you have?
Well, as a track coach, you make millions.
Like, apparently. And is that what he's doing? Like, is that what he's been doing? Like, that's like what he did from wherever they called him from?
Just tracking?
Or was he like, oh, no, I was this big business executive, and then I thought I'd settle down. Like, I don't know. I could probably be like a track coach in North Carolina. Oh, hey, look who's hiring. Go Dolphin.
Go Dolphin. So inside this thing that he sat on, there was a piece of paper, like a little pamphlet that was like Blackbeard's witch ex-wife's like spells, and he's like, oh, look at this, how to turn someone into a toad, how to bind a pirate to in eternal limbo. Let me read this one out loud.
It's like, I don't know what's stupider, like the kids in Evil Dead who like read the Necromonica. I don't know. The demon book. Or
demon book.
Like that. It's like, oh, I bet I probably should have. Or this guy who's like, just forget, like, because at least in Evil Dead, you know, I was watching that. I was like, oh, no, don't read it. Oh, my God, this is stupid. They read it. Oh, man. But this, I was like, dude, it's literally like a little scrap of parchment. It's like, it's nothing. And it's like written in like crayon. And I'm like, just why are you wasting your time? You could be sleeping right now.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I better go to bed. And he's like, let me take, like, don't waste like the 30 seconds to read this thing. Like, that was my thing.
He reads it, and Blackbeard's ghost just shows up, and he's this big, larger than life, drunken pirate figure. And for you Disney fans, I say that as if there's anyone else listening to this Disney podcast.
Yeah, if you're not a Disney fan, like, what are you doing in here? Sorry.
You would recognize his voice as Prince John from the animated Robin Hood. So that very, mommy, you know, that very exaggerated voice.
You know, kind of exactly what you imagine Blackbeard sounding like, you know?
Yep, that was my thoughts. It's like, I hope it's like whiny Prince John from Robin Hood. That's what I hope he sounds like.
I mean, like, he tried putting on like a Cockney sort of accent, you know, like a pirate, like a Cockney pirate, you know. But it was still like, I don't know. It was all not to pick apart his performance or his voice. Oh, that's not how I would have done it. But it was just his whole the entire movie. I was thinking that I was just like, is he really? Like, I wonder if online somewhere there's like
a fan theory
that it's not even the actual ghost of Blackbeard. It's just the ghost of some guy who died wearing like a Blackbeard costume or something like that. And like, oh, you're not piratey at all.
So there's some antics that start to brew where Blackbeard wants to sleep on the bed, but Steve wants to sleep on the bed. Oh, but they can't both sleep on the bed, and Steve's like, I don't even think you're real, so let me sleep on the bed. A good bit.
Yeah, I was in stitches.
And
the whole part where they slept on the bed together for like 2 seconds.
And then Blackbeard he has like a PTSD like breakdown where he like flashes back to like
in his head. We don't actually see it.
No.
Like, but you said it, and it sounded much more exciting than what it actually is in the eve.
I don't want to misinform people. He just started jumping on the bed. Like,
he is triggered by something.
You living
He
stuff.
starts spouting pirate swears.
Yeah. And swashing his sword around. And
I wasn't looking at like the time, but I'm pretty sure this whole like PTSD episode lasts like 5 minutes and no one else is talking but Blackbeard, and he's just freaking out, and it's not funny, and it's not spooky, it is not dramatic, it is just weird. Like, it went on for too long.
Yep.
I mean, the whole movie went on for too long, but that scene in particular, I kept waiting for it to get funny because of just how long it was going on, and it didn't get, like, the bit is just how long it's going on. No.
So they discuss, and Blackbeard is bound to this earth in a sort of purgatory until he can perform one good deed. Because he never did one in his life.
Oh my god. This movie.
Which is also the plot of the Japanese Lilo and Stitch series, where Stitch has to perform good deeds so he can get a wish. So that's a little...
What?
There's a Japanese Lilo and Stitch show that takes place after Stitch the series, where Stitch goes to Japan and Lilo's grown up, and Stitch has to perform good deeds. Look it up. It's real.
I'm looking it up right now. What
yes,
is it
perform
called?
good. It's called Stitch.
Oh wow.
It is wacky.
So he has to he gets a wish?
He gets a wish if he performs like 100 good deeds. Yeah.
Wow.
So the next morning. Or
what
no.
a night.
No. It was still that evening, so Steve's like, I can't deal with this Blackbeard nonsense. I need some sleep. So he goes to his car to go on a drive somewhere else. And he's like, oh, man. For a second there, I thought that Blackbeard thing was real. Wait, what's that smell of rum in my car?
Oh, wait. No. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Right? He escapes.
I am explaining the part of the movie.
Yeah. I'm like, when was that? Forgot all about this entire movie. You're reminding me, like, as we're going. I'm like, oh yeah, right. Oh yeah. Blackbeard was in it.
He was a ghost.
Yeah, so he can smell the rum.
Yeah.
From Blackbeard.
Mm-hmm. We can get into our conspiracy later.
Yeah, later. But just buckle up because
we're gonna get there.
Gosh.
They start fighting over control of the steering wheel, and it draws the attention of a police officer. Because he's running through, like, yards and forests and knocking over fences. And a police officer, like, chased him down. And he's like, officer, it's not me. It's Blackbeard's ghost.
Which that was funny.
Yeah.
And that was funny like by like today's standards.
Yeah.
Like we've had movies like that. Like they've said stuff like that in like MCU movies where it's just like, "Oh yeah, it's my talking raccoon friend." And like people are like, "What?" And the audience is like, "Ha ha ha." So that was actually funny.
Yeah.
That was one of the like 4 times that like it was actually funny in this movie.
So officer's trying to like arrest him because he thinks Steve was drunk driving because he sees a bottle of rum in the car.
And he smells it too.
But Blackbeard starts messing with this police officer. He starts throwing the papers everywhere.
He snaps his pencil.
Yeah, snaps the pencil. Starts riding his motorcycle around. And so this officer, who clearly sees something is amiss, is like, I gotta still arrest you for drunk driving, I guess.
And it's so funny because he like looks like they have like a moment. Like I just did the Mike and Sully meme where they look, or no. I was the Shrek and Donkey meme where
yes.
they both look at each other with the face. And the cop is like, oh man, I don't know what exactly. He has like a kind of a thing. And he's like, well, anyway, back to my arrest, you know? I'm going to arrest you with my no motorcycle, no papers, no handcuffs, nothing, because Blackbeard's ghost just took it all.
So I guess they all walked back to the station together.
I guess.
All 3 of them. And then we see Steve in jail and Blackbeard sitting above him drinking a new bottle of rum, even though his last one was smashed during the interaction with the police officer. So do we want to get into this now?
I
think we have
right?
to. We can't tell if Blackbeard's bottle of rum was ghost rum or if it was real life rum.
Because everyone can smell it.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a recurring thing in the movie. Like, people are like, oh man, Steve, I guess his name is, Steve, you smell like rum. Oh, he's probably a drunk or blah, blah, blah. And like everyone says that. And they're like, huh, what's that smell? There's no drunk behind me. But it's like Blackbeard's ghost is like right behind them.
And there's times later in the movie where we see him grab like rum out of restaurants and all this. And
it floats.
Yeah, it floats. But Blackbeard was in the cell with a bottle of rum. So if it's floating along,
like inside, locked in with him, like he wasn't like sitting outside the cell.
No.
Like that.
So
like he was on the top bunk that Steve was sitting in.
Blackbeard somehow acquired either a new bottle of rum or had more ghost rum. But if it was a new bottle of rum, how did it get into the cell? Because the officer would have seen a floating bottle of rum make its way into the cell as he was letting Steve in and out, like into it and closing the door. But if it's ghost rum, like we think the first one was, did he have 2 bottles of rum on him when he died? Or was the first one real and this one was a ghost rum?
A bottle of rum that first time. He might have, like, you know, as I said, like, this is a weird movie and I don't remember a lot of it, even though we just watched it. It might have been ghost rum that first one, but that second bottle of rum was definitely not ghost rum unless he has the power to just, you know, magic
make
himself some
rum.
But if he does have magic rum powers, then why would he be stealing rum from various bars and people later on throughout the film? If he could just, I mean, unless I guess maybe it takes a lot of effort that to oomph himself some ghost rum, so he's like, it's easier just to get the real stuff or whatever. But no, the thing is, no one bats an eyelash later on. Well, they raise an eyebrow, maybe.
Yeah.
At most, when they see the floating bottle of rum. And there's other floating objects, too. But, like, I threw around the theory that maybe it's like, maybe he could keep the bottle of rum underneath his coat.
Like an invisibility thing. Like, once it's under, you can't see it.
Like, is that, like, a thing? Maybe. Because also, like, you see the bottle of rum, but you never see, like, the rum pooling inside his ghost stomach. So, like, maybe it's like, you know, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing.
So they released Steve because they didn't actually find any alcohol in his system.
Smells like rum.
Yeah.
Looks like rum. I can't believe it's not rum.
Steve and Blackbeard come to an agreement where he's like, if you help the old lady somehow save their inn, that'll be your one good deed, and you can go to pirate heaven.
That is the one good thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Like, there
can't be anything
nothing else. Like, compared to all of your apparent piracy.
Yeah.
Like, he can't just, like, help someone, like, cross the street, carry someone's groceries, maybe, or something. Like, this is the only way.
Yep.
And he's like, oh, well, all right, yeah. If this is what I have to do.
So now we are getting to the part where I lost my mind with how amazing this is.
What part? I don't even know. Like,
So-
the suspense.
So Blackbeard and Steve are talking, and Blackbeard brings up how good of a gambler he was. And I'm like, oh my God. For my third time on Into the Vault, an old Disney movie's plot is just that a supernatural figure is going to help a regular person cheat at gambling to get money for something. It happened with the computer wore tennis shoes. It happened with Cat from Outer Space. And the best part is, before the movie started, we were joking about it. Because I was like, I hope it's not just another one of those they cheat at gambling movies like Cat from Outer Space. And it's like, yeah, how great would that be?
I literally was like, I bet you like $10. This will somehow, but like jokingly, I didn't actually think.
So, how this is set up, Steve and the girl Joanne, they're at a restaurant, and Joanne's like, well, we raised $900 for the old women, but it has to be like $38,000. And Blackbeard like has an idea, so he steals the money.
Whoa. When you say steal the money, you're talking about the giant wad of $900 in cash.
That Joanne keeps in her purse
Just loose in her purse. She pulls out her wallet. And, like, I don't know what she's doing. She's, like, looking for something in her purse when they sit down, like, before they've ordered anything. And she's, like, just clearing out her purse. And then she's just, like, just nonchalant, just pulls out a giant wad of cash. And he's like, whoa, Steve.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa, what is that? She's like, oh, this? A measly $900 in cash that I don't have in, like, an envelope. Or I don't even have a freaking rubber band around. Like, she's just like, oh, these.
So Blackbeard sneaks around and is able to steal it, and
these are the earnings from the other night.
Yeah, from the auctions and all that.
Yeah. She doesn't just have $900 with her. I mean, she does, literally, but it's not hers.
It should be noted, this is also the restaurant of the gangsters who, I don't know what kind of organized crime they do, because it's a small town that seemingly only has a high school, this one seafood restaurant, and an inn. So I don't know what kind of crime they're doing.
It's like smaller than like the Birds town, where it's like a dock, a restaurant, a school, and a hotel.
And they happen to have organized crime consisting of, from my count, like 5 criminals.
There's like 5, like at the climax of the movie, he's like, all right, boys, get them. And there's 5 of them total. And that is 4 and the mob boss.
And the leader. 4 and a leader. So Blackbeard makes a bet that the Steve's track team is going to win like every event, even though his team consists of the worst high schoolers that 30-year-old men can play.
Dude, they're the worst high schoolers. They're so bad at being high schoolers. They're like 45.
So to get to the interesting parts, we show up at the track meet, and the stands are filled with people. There's a camera crew filming the whole thing.
It is a televised event on like multiple channels.
And I ran cross country in high school, which is very similar to track. We would be lucky if our parents showed up for the meets, like.
Oh, wow, would you look at this crowd? We have 2 parents out there.
And one 5-year-old sister who's very unhappy. Her doll's head has fallen right off. She'll have to instead watch the meet. She'll have to watch the race. Blackbeard starts cheating at every event, and this is the best scene.
Not for his gain, though, I will say. He's trying.
He is trying. He's trying to help win the money by having Steve's team win, and Steve keeps being like, no, Blackbeard, stop it. Stop it. And everyone around him's like, Steve, you're crazy. You're talking to no one. Whoa, stop running.
Yeah, he's only yelling at this invisible force that keeps on picking up his teammates and like throwing them across the yard.
Like for shot put, he'll just knock the other teams down and like pick up the ball and just run with it. And everyone in the crowd is going crazy and not like, oh my God, what is happening? I have never seen a ball fly forward at 2 miles an hour with no downward trajectory at all.
And like everyone just keeps on cheering. Like every time they do one of these crazy, inhuman victory, like impossible victories, the band starts playing this same fanfare. Like they know the one song. And then the crowd just goes crazy and no one is like, huh, that's weird that what's this one?
Javelin?
The javelin. It just like flew like the opposite way or something like Blackbeard is like doing crazy ghost stuff that he didn't do for the first hour and a half of this movie when he was just a crying drunk.
As I'm watching this, I'm like, I understand his good deed is trying to save this inn, but he is ruining the potential futures of all these other kids who have worked so hard. Who, like, maybe this is the one where it's like, man, if I PR here, if I get my personal record, those, like, college coaches will be sending in the scholarships. But now I have Blackbeard giving me a wedgie, so I can't.
What future? They're all, like,
40, yeah.
Like, there's, like, this one big, like, bodybuilder guy, and he looks like a gym rat nowadays. He's like spray tanned.
In the crowds, Joanne is really excited because she has the piece of paper with the bet on it that got in her purse, and she's like, well, if we win, we get to save the inn. And the gangsters are just watching with total disapproval. And when we get to the last race, the boy from Steve's school's about to win, and so all the money would go to the inn, and the one gangster pulls out a gun and aims it at this high school kid, and the guy's like, hey, it'd be too messy, put it down, huh?
Like, I was,
what's the plan? Even if you shoot this kid,
like,
what is the bet
gonna get you? Like, talk about messy.
Yeah.
Like, but also, like, why are the gangsters so invested in this race? I mean, I guess
they wanted
slim pickings in this town of 3 buildings.
Well, they wanted the real estate from that inn to open a casino, but like just open a casino somewhere else.
Yeah, but like just this is what you're betting on? A high school track meet? Why is it televised? Why does this town care? Everyone go home.
And yeah, because the town...
Go eat at that one restaurant and go home.
It was established earlier the town only cared about football. But anyway.
Oh my God, you're right. Well, actually, maybe that crowd was from all the other
schools,
towns, all the other schools that were there,
and they love track and field enough to travel to other counties for the meet.
This small little town with only 3 buildings, 2 of them not being prison, it probably couldn't house all of the people that were there in the stands. Like, they were packed.
So Steve's team wins. They win the bet, and this should have been the end of the movie, but it keeps going.
Oh, God,
because the
it
gangster's
does.
like, hey, we're not paying out the money. Here, we'll give you the 900 back, no hard feelings. You can maybe go play at the roulette table.
Oh, yeah, and this is back at his, whatever, hideout.
At his hideout. And this review's gone on.
In the seafood restaurant.
And this review's gone on longer than any other review, so we'll, unlike the movie, we'll wrap this up quickly. Blackbeard and them cheat at roulette. They electrocute one of the guys because they were cheating at roulette. You just watch the movie, it'll make sense. They get all the money, chips, and they're as they're leaving, the gangster's like, stop them, but Blackbeard takes all their guns away. Oh my God. And Steve stands there with 2 finger guns. And Blackbeard's standing behind the gangsters with his the butt of his pistol, and Steve would fire his finger gun, and Blackbeard would hit the guy with the gun. It was a very funny scene. This scene was very good.
That was one of the other 2 scenes.
Because they made it like
was actually funny,
like a real shootout, but like it was just finger guns from everyone, like criminals. Very funny.
Both of the good guys were shooting their invisible guns at the gangsters, and it was Blackbeard who just kept on smacking, pistol whipping all of the gangsters, and it was funny. It was
Steve and Joanne escape with all the chips so they can get the money. Blackbeard and just beats up the rest of the gangsters
with great strength.
Yeah, just throwing them across the room.
Really.
They get the money. They show up at where the old ladies are about to lose the inn. It's 5 seconds till the deed expires or whatever.
Yeah.
And they show up.
They have one of those guys that's
with the
there.
Stopwatch.
He's there with his watch and the deed. And he's like, well, I'm very particular or whatever.
They show up. They give the money. And so the good deed hasn't been done yet because the mortgage bill thing, the deed is still there, and everyone's like, thank you, Steve, for giving us the money. And he's like, here's the guy you should really thank. And a rowboat rows up, and no one can see it because it's Blackbeard's ghost.
How do you get on the boat?
And Steve has them do the incantation that he did earlier to activate Blackbeard, and they all see him. He throws the deed in, and that's his good deed, and all these ladies are crying and start singing, for he's a jolly good fellow.
They love Blackbeard. This is like
the cult of Blackbeard.
Christ's second coming.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal. They're like, it's actually Blackbeard, the guy from our hotel.
Who murdered so many people. He was executed for all his murders.
Sorry to tell you, we sold all of your crap for $10 and under.
But we'll give you a free kiss to make up for it. That's a whole dollar value. And so Blackbeard burns the deed, and that's his good deed. His good deed is the burn deed.
Nice.
Thanks. That was a good joke. And anyone who says otherwise is wrong. Yeah. And that's it. That's the movie.
That's it. Yeah. Wasn't that good? Did we sell you?
We can get into our final feelings in a bit, but first, I want to give you a little bit of trivia about this movie.
Yes, I would like to hear.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to see if these movies, these old ones, have any connections to the parks in the modern day, because a lot of the time there'll be little things that we miss, just painted on the walls and all that. There is one reference inside the Disney parks, and it is in the weirdest place. You would not expect it. You can't even see it because it's too dark in the room. Madame Leota's book has the incantation written in it, the one that activates Blackbeard. In Haunted Mansion, again, it's so dark in the room you cannot see it.
Have a picture, do they?
There are pictures online. Here, I'm gonna pull one up for you. But yeah, the incantation is right there in the book.
Why?
I have no idea. The Cree Craw Virgo. That's the incantation that activates Blackbeard's ghost.
Oh my god. What?
So inside
someone really put more than 10 minutes of effort into putting a little Easter egg from this movie in this ride.
Yes. I tried to look for it myself, but again, it is so dark in that room. It's impossible to actually read her book, but the images online, yeah, it's written right there.
Wow. I'm honestly, I'm blown away.
I know. There's no other direct connections to this movie. I thought Disney would have more like Blackbeard references than it does. I tried looking around, looking online. I couldn't really find any directly to even just the historical figure of Blackbeard, at least at Disney World. Maybe elsewhere there is. On Pirates of the Caribbean, because Blackbeard is a character in that franchise, they used to have like a mist projection of their Blackbeard in the ride.
I missed the mist projections.
Yeah. So that's the only other connection to Blackbeard himself. But yeah, there is a actual Blackbeard's ghost reference in Disney parks.
That is so crazy.
Now's the part of the show where we try and build an attraction based off this movie. If it was more popular and more successful, and the Imagineering team at Disney World's like, we have to have a Blackbeard's ghost something or other. What would it be? Would it be a ride? Would it be a restaurant? Where would we put it? Would it replace something? Do you have any ideas? If not, I have something to get us going.
Oh, man. Well, I could definitely see... And you said this is assuming this is in a world
where this is so popular, the demand was so high they had to build one.
Well, definitely like easiest would be like a merch line. You know, I could definitely see, you know, a shirt
with Blackbeard's ghost
with the incantations,
yeah,
and stuff like that. Or I can even see, you know, they have those fancy like journals that look like the adventure book from Up. Or, you know, different books.
Yeah.
Or those ones that look like the VHS covers.
Yeah.
You know? I can definitely see one of those fancy journals that looks like the Blackbeard's wife's
handwriting.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Do you want to do the seafood restaurant?
The seafood restaurant?
Like, it kind of just looks like a dumpy seafood restaurant.
That was almost where my head was at with it. I think we could build the hotel. Like a pirate Blackbeard's hotel at Disney,
like,
I think would be...
As an attraction, or you mean like an actual, like a resort?
Like an actual resort. Now, this resort would be kind of like the upcoming Star Wars hotel, where it's fully immersive. You know how for the Stars Hotel... Like, you're supposed to look out your window and see space. You're wearing the Star Wars clothes. There will probably be character interactions inside.
Oh, God.
This is a fully interactive Blackbeard's Ghost hotel. You have to purchase 3 days minimum. You get there, they give you your pirate garb.
3 days of this.
They have games like Gangster Whack-A-Mole, where you get the butt of a pistol and you put in your quarter. A little gangster will pop up and you can hit him on the head.
A regular roulette wheel. you could have
the
like the pool area could be themed like the racetrack.
Yeah,
something like that.
And kind of like how Blackbeard was able to lift these guys with superhuman strength, you could swim as if you were floating in air.
Yeah. Okay.
But every employee is an older woman who is obsessed with Blackbeard. And if you mention his name, they're like, Blackbeard, you say? For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly... And everyone...
What if that was a thing? Like, anytime, you know, like the Chick-fil-A, you know, my pleasure sort of a thing.
Or like,
where
they
it's
used
like,
to do...
oh, if anyone says Blackbeard or something like that, you have to go, Blackbeard? Blackbeard? And then they start crying and saying, for he's a jolly good fellow.
Like at Whispering Canyon when you, like, ask for ketchup. It's just like that.
Now...
You look out the windows and it's just open sea and you can see the ghost ship and Blackbeard will come up and knock on your window every once in a while. It's the creepiest thing. Kids would hate it, but I would love it.
See, you said it now and it sounds creepy, but if it's anything like this movie, it would just be like, oh my God, just Like pull the blinds down, close the curtains. Like the projected video is annoying me.
They would have little props everywhere, like in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, that are just like look like they're floating and levitating, like a ghost is holding them, or like taking a drink, just floating rum everywhere.
Oh yeah, dude, that'd be cool if they had in the every resort has the store that's like a convenience store.
Yeah.
Kind of, they have those like items there. If they had like the rum from the movie,
yeah,
that'd be. I would try the Blackbeard's ghost as seen in the Disney 1968 blockbuster Blackbeard's Ghost rum seen in the movie. I'll try that.
I don't think there could be a better setup for this movie, so that's what it is.
Yeah, like that's. No, would the restaurant be there?
Yeah, the restaurant would be the dining location, the signature eatery, and the gangsters are in there. They can have a little like stunt show almost in there.
Oh, a stunt show
where all the guys start flinging themselves around
on,
wires,
rigs where they just get like thrown all over the place into
tables, and
breakaway pool tables and roulette wheels.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And what type of discount will we get at this place? Is this like one of the ones that's like 10%, or is like, oh no, the meal's on us because you decided to come here and we don't want to punish you by having you pay for Blackbeard's ghost stuff.
Our annual like holiday coupons would work, but not our blue IDs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I time it right, it might be worth the drive.
Yeah. So we have to decide, was this movie a hidden treasure, or should it be locked away? Should people not watch this? What are your thoughts?
As it is really tough because I guess I didn't hate this movie.
Right.
Like there were, like I said, like 4-ish moments where I was really laughing. And I wasn't even laughing at how awful it was. It was legit funny and entertaining. But then there were just, like, this movie apparently is only an hour and 45 minutes. But I swear this was like a 2-hour and 15-minute journey that we took. And so much of it, like that scene where Blackbeard has his PTSD trip.
It just goes on.
Flashback. Like, it just goes on forever and ever. And even the scene in the prison cell, it's just so drawn out. So, like, if we could chop it down.
Yeah.
Like, to
condensed.
just a crisp 30-minute romp through this weird little town,
like the hotel will be.
Yes, exactly, Like, I could say that it's a hidden treasure. But I didn't like it that much to say that it's a hidden treasure, but I also didn't hate it enough. Is there a...
No, you have to pick one or the other.
It can't be in the limbo. Not like, oh man, I have a hankering to watch some Blackbeard's Ghost.
Okay, so
but
I think...
someone later on,
like
10 years from now or something, like I'm not watching this again anytime soon. But if someone was like, Blackbeard's Ghost, I'd be like, dude, let's watch it. This was crazy. I did a podcast. I talked about it.
So I think that's kind of what my answer was, is it's a multifaceted answer.
It's a mixed bag if there ever
by
was
yourself, lock it away, don't watch it. With a group of friends,
yes,
this is definitely a hidden treasure. If you guys
couldn't have watched this by myself.
Yeah. If you are the type for drinking games, this anytime Steve says the word idiot,
oh my god, he says idiot so many times in this movie. It was like Die Hard, like cleaned up for like FX kind of deal where they take out all the F-bombs. Like if they replaced it with idiot, it's crazy.
I think again, by yourself, no. If you bring over a group of your funniest friends and you're like, guys, let's just watch this and riff for an hour, 45 minutes, I 100% think that this is one of the best Disney movies for that.
For that, yes.
But officially, our official ranking is sitting in cursed pirate limbo.
Yes. It has to do a good deed in order to be a hidden treasure. And it hasn't done that. I will say, throughout the movie, I kept remarking that the main guy, Steve, resembled John Mulaney, like, uncannily.
There's a few times where if you look at him, you're like, yeah, that could be John Mulaney.
Like, he even made some of the same faces. So, if they made a remake
starring John Mulaney,
and who would be a good Blackbeard's ghost? Like Kevin James or something like that?
I think it should be like a larger than life
Rebel Wilson.
Taika Waititi. If Blackbeard was played by Taika Waititi.
Oh my God, that would
and
be
it was
so
John Mulaney.
Entertaining if it was the two of them.
This would be the perfect movie.
Like, because then it would have that sort of like when you go and watch like what's
Jojo Rabbit. I don't know.
No, like a movie that it was an old movie no one really watched, but then they made a remake of it and everyone loved the remake. But anyway, I feel like that a good remake could heighten my feelings towards the original.
How I feel about Tron.
They laid. What'd you say?
How I feel about Tron.
Yeah. Like they laid the foundation for
this
what
better
would be a great movie. You know,
yeah.
They walked so that Blackbeard's
Ghost 2
could run. You know,
Blackbeard's Ghost 2 Cruise Control.
Yeah. So I would say the verdict is still out. You know?
It's still out there.
Like, I can see a good deed on the horizon at some point. Like, I feel like after this whole pandemic, we're gonna be so like thirsty for money. Like the companies gonna be like, just let's do like how we used to do and do a bunch of crazy movies. But we don't have time to like actually come up with crazy movie ideas. Just redo like the weirdest ones. Like,
Apple Dumpling Gang 2.
Yeah, Apple Dumpling Gang. We can like CG model Don Knotts in them. It'll be great. Blackbeard's Ghost. Get like John Mulaney. People like him, right? And then that's what'll happen. That's what'll happen.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this review of Blackbeard's Ghost. If you like the show, you can leave us a review on the Apple Podcasts app. It really helps spread the word. Tell a friend. Follow us on Instagram at Into the Vault Podcast. Nate, do you have anywhere people can find you or want to see you? Or do you have any shows? I should have prepped you.
I'm like, yeah, save the theater. Currently I'm in the Fantastics over at the Athens Theater in DeLand. If you live over here by Disney, it is very, very far. But it's a cute show, and it's a theater that it could really use the help. All theater could use the help right now. But yeah, if you want to go on Instagram, I'm over there. My personal page. Is it a page?
Yeah.
I grew up calling like the Facebook page, but then Instagram is like, what is a handle or a Twitter handle? I don't know. These newfangled social media outlets. On Instagram, I am Nate Elliott 77. You could probably guess why it's 77.
Because you're 77 years old.
That is right. Hit the nail on the head. And also I have a cosplay page, Ultimate, and that's spelled ultimate with an N instead of an M because I'm like that. _cosplay, and I do a lot of cool stuff over there.
All right. Well, I guess we have to go figure out our one good deed so we can get you to your afterlife, Nate.
Yeah,
let's go.
Please.